I don't know if it is. Hold on. Like at all? Try that. Oh, try that connection. How about now? Come on, Chris. It can't be too. Don't move, don't move, don't move. Patrick, sort of right there. That connection line. Are we good? Is it holding?
We are cleared for takeoff there, El Capitan. All right, please turn off all your electronics. Make sure your seats are upright and all that jazz. We're good.
Excellent. That is exactly what I wanted to hear. The heater is maintaining constant temperature of 22 Celsius, and the carbon monoxide sensors are deployed.
Lighting in all the right places, both rooms tested and fully insulated. Even got a fully working bathroom plumbed in. Nothing fancy, but it'll do its job. Tested it myself.
Oh, we're aware. I wish there was a window to open up in here. Okay. What about the audio? It starts anytime the main room light comes on. It's audio recording only, and it downloads to an external 5 terabyte recorder. So unless we have marathon sessions in here, we won't have to change it 40 years and swap it out.
Zeke, enough with the perfection selection and correction. This place is like a fully functional speakeasy type getaway oasis. It's ready for all types of recreational activities, right? Cousin Jimmy... Wait. Just to be clear, audio recordings aren't admissible evidence in court, right?
Hey, no, Patrick, no. None of that better be taking place in here, okay? This space is sacred. All for the lawman. Well, I mean, mostly for Bass, but for us too. So we have someplace we can meet. We can talk about Atlas, plan on what to do, what the next moves would be. See, when he said a few weeks back that we had to be careful, and we talked about, ongoing Atlas hunt, that got me thinking. I mean, bad guys got their secret bunker in Mad Science Place. The good guys need one too. Safe place. This here is holy ground.
You mean like Graceland?
Graceland? Dear Lord, please help me not go upside nobody's head today.
You call me here, Chief? Here I am.
Isaiah 58:9. That was a good one, Lord. You got me good. No, sorry about that. Jesus thumb must have hit the button or something. I am all good, thank you, though. It just occurred to me. We should christen this place with a name. What about the Bass Cave? Why don't we show them the present first? Put the naming rights on the back burner for now. Besides, given what we've been doing down here, should be calling this place the Watchtower. R.I.P. Jimmy.
Jimmy's not dead. What are you talking about? I talked to him last week. If he was dead, he would have texted me about that. How about Chateau de Relaxo? Come on.
Yeah. Okay. Ready for tomorrow morning? And since it's Sunday and everybody has a day off, so after we grab breakfast, after I'm out of church, we grab the lawman and the others and we show off all our work. Oh, wait a minute. I know it. Rivendell, the elven sanctuary where the Fellowship of the Ring was born.
Wait, no, ew! Isn't that Archie TV show that's perverted the comic series? No,
that's Riverdale, not Rivendell. And blah, I mean, you're not wrong, though. The scripts are all over the place. Storyline's convoluted. It's Gen Z garbage. Feel the back of my hand getting anxious over here. They just took tropes of every single writing and mashed them all together to see what would stick. Seriously, are you a teen drama? A gothic horror? Supernatural thriller? True crime? What are you doing?
All right, just a few more steps, and then open your eyes.
Okay, guys, you really didn't have to go to this extreme,
All right. I think we're all good here. Open them.
Okay. I don't recognize this. We're not in the elevated station or any of the science. where are we, guys?
It's your present from all of us. Remember a month or so back when we were in the galley talking about needing a place to gather outside of prying ears? Firefighter Fred had the idea.
I did? Damn, I'm good. Must have been looking for an escape from having to listen to Katrin go on about them Danielle Steele books again. I get she loves them, but I don't need to hear about it. And don't get me started on her trying to get me to watch that Sex and the City show. Who wants to watch broads try to fuck New York? New York's not even a pretty city. How about Boston? I'll watch those girls get it on with Boston, but New York? Fuck that.
Okay. Anyway, this, we're in the old station, like the old pole? Because this looks all brand new.
Yeah, well, that's because we reconnect the power, the heat, everything. We're currently in the old lounge. Most of the old pole was torn down in the late 2000s. Hell, only a few DeWalts know this thing is even still here. And most of them are in this room right now. The other room we got power going to is the sleeping area and bathroom. I think it was an old storage room or something.
Oh, they brought in monitors, a television, computers, and an old Xbox system that was collecting dust and all hooked up and ready for use.
And we carefully selected some furniture from storage in the cargo huts that weren't being used. We've got chairs, a couch, a table, and a bed in the back in case there's long nights.
Wow. So this is like a clubhouse, like the Honeycomb Hideout.
No, don't want to use that. Somebody already claimed that name, man.
Oh, we didn't pick a name yet, but yes, this is the place we can all go when we need to meet, discuss, plan, or otherwise review what's going on without having to worry about eavesdroppers. Since you brought us all together on this, that seat is yours, at the head of the conference table.
Everybody, I can't, this is so cool.
Glad you like it, sweetie.
Oh, we even took a page from your book, Deputy Marshal. We have the entire place wired to audio record. We figured if this is your sanctuary, at least it should be the one place where you don't have to remember to record. It's recording like right now? Oh, anytime the main lights are switched on, recording starts. Depending on what happens, best to have recorded logs on meetings here too, right? And the only thing it's missing is a 6-pack of beer and pretzels.
Hey, who's your buddy? Check out the cooler over there by the couch.
Damn. Everybody, thank you. Thank you so very, very much.
So honey, didn't you tell me about something big you wanted to share with everyone?
Yeah, something in the data downloaded from your old boss?
Okay, yeah. Files that he had left for me after he had passed. I only just received them a few months ago and have been, I've been putting off looking at them. Just too many, is that a full-size pinboard with sticky notes and a red string? Well, I mean, I figure if we're going to break the case, why not do it in style?
Dark.
After the holiday party last week, I had a good buddy convince me that listening to it was a good thing.
You are welcome, lawman.
This may take a while to get through. Anybody need to be anywhere today?
It's Sunday, Deputy Marshal. The station's only day off. Everybody is getting ready for New Year's Eve tomorrow night. Nothing pressing.
I have my radio with me in the event of any station IT emergencies, but like Tommy just said, nobody should be working today.
I'm okay.
Nothing planned for today, boss. Catherine is off reading a throbbing manhood Danielle Steele book, so let's get it on.
Okay. All right. There was a personal message from Chuck, my old marshal and father-in-law, to me. The content isn't important for this conversation. Chuck and I became aware shortly after I arrived that the number of official and unofficial eyes on this station were unusual, to say the least. More than just the experiments, the projects, the unusual nature of things down here, many people in departments of power had a vested interest. Some are obvious, others, the worrisome ones, are extremely clandestine.
What's that, boss?
Secretive.
Oh, gotcha. On board. All right.
So I'm assuming the main character is Bogart Lowen, the Defense Intelligence Agency, and the NSF?
The public ones, yes. But there are others. One very big one in particular. It wasn't until Chuck's information was given to me that, I'm skipping ahead. For everything to make sense, it really needs to be described chronologically.
Hey, what's up, boss?
In the order things happened.
You know, not for nothing, guys, but it would help if we just use some regular people words from time to time. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, Fred. It begins in the 1930s. Oh, hey, that's usually my shtick. Let's add gimmick infringement to the list of crimes to investigate.
Okay, now, I know I can sometimes get, distracted, or my mind tends to go on tangents. I get that. Or are you telling us the guy who runs the electric car company, frickin' Elon Musk, is behind, everything down here at the pole?
What? No, Tesla the guy, not the car company. Nikolai Tesla, Croatian inventor, scientist, and doctor.
Actually, honey, he never graduated. He studied physics and engineering, yes, but he dropped out, which makes everything he accomplished afterward even more impressive.
Oh, now who's the class clown there, boss? How you doing, Doc Jennings?
Ew.
Nikki T! Okay, I'm back on the gravy boat. Okay, go ahead, Deputy Marshal.
All right. In 1884, he immigrated to the United States and started his inventing career. At first, although he was very popular, he was also very underappreciated, and he was an immigrant worker, employed by the Westinghouse Company and more famously at Continental Edison.
The light bulb inventor.
Amongst other things, yes, one and the same. For their entire professional lives, some said they had quite the rivalry.
They despised one another. Edison profited off 24 ideas Tesla came up with. He submitted the patents, and then he didn't pay Tesla what he promised.
Smart dudes profiting off the works of immigrants and taking all the credit. Yeah, it's a good thing we've come a long way since then, huh?
So, what happened after Nikolai stopped working for Edison?
He was there for 9 months before Tesla got his own investors and backers. It was during this time 2 important things happened. He made a lot of money from his inventions, which funded his personal projects.
Yeah? What's that?
Chuck and his sources aren't sure. However, he started keeping a journal with ideas, mathematical formulas, and his designs.
Oh, wait, that Nikolai Tesla. Oh, dude, my man invented the AC induction motor. He experimented with the first oscillators, electric discharge tubes, medical X-ray technology. He even made the first wireless remote-controlled boat, my dude.
Right. Nikolai Tesla. We established that already.
Right, okay. Sorry, I'm back on the gravy boat. Go ahead.
Yeah, hard to keep some of the group's attention, Lawman. It's probably best you just tell your story.
Privately, he had quite a number of projects he was working on, which would require an incredible amount of funding to truly pursue. So he needed something he could publicly establish to help garner interest and get no shortage of investors and partners. Wireless power and communication. He doubled down on this idea, took out many loans, and upended his entire life moving to Colorado to work on his brainstorm. The magnifying transmitter, which would be the linchpin in his ultimate public goal. Building the Wardenclyffe Tower in Shoreham, Long Island in 1901. Needless to say, that was a disaster. His funding started to run out, and he couldn't get his main partner, J.P. Morgan, to give him any additional funding. And Tesla defaulted on the contract, and by 1910, the project was abandoned. Nikolai Tesla went for about the next 20 years, barely eking out a living. He had no home any longer and run up multiple-year-long hotel bills, simply moving to another hotel and sticking the owners with the bill.
Boss, while I'm sitting over here simply loving this A&E biography on ye olden timey Nikolai the science guy. But what has this got to do with us here and now?
Getting to that exact spot, Tesla continued to keep his private journal and funding what little experiments he could get interest in. any interest after being blackballed by J.P. Morgan, financial and investment service. He bounced around New York and New Jersey in his final years, and it wasn't until he was well into his late 70s, and during his visit to friends in Princeton, New Jersey, at the local university where he met...
Oh, no way!
Yes way, where he first met Albert Einstein in person. The two had known of one another for some time. In fact, the story goes that the two, while not having fond personal opinions of one another, did respect each other on a professional level. Einstein was part of what would later be called the Great Class of '38. And by this point, he too was getting on in age and decided to remain in the United States, especially with the political atmosphere in Europe, which would lead to World War II just 1 year later. According to his journal, it was the late 30s that Tesla truly recognized that his name no longer carried the weight that he needed to get funding for any of his projects. While his biggest fear was that his research would never be put into practical application, even more worrisome was that his work would fall into the hands of one of his rivals. Edison was already dead by this point, but the only people he would trust, despite their public disputes, were his fellow Europeans, specifically scientists. Edison and two other European scientists, Kurt Gödel and Leo Szilard, met with Tesla and began to work together in private.
So what happened? What took place that started up the research that led to, well, whatever Atlas is?
That's where I come into the film, Ray.
God bless America. Is that every damn time? Somebody want to tell me why Super Rover got invited to this thing?
It was as I was going through the files that I saw a reference in Tesla's journal about a scientist hiring a private detective over in New York to help them send a private letter and papers to the U.S. government. Somebody who the German agents in the U.S. wouldn't suspect delivering sensitive communiques. R. Johnson of Johnson & Mason Detective Agency. Had this sweet old lady, Miss Kaufman, walk into our office in Midtown, West 48th and 6th. Said her employer, some propeller head over across the Hudson, had some papers he was having this Park Avenue fat cat banker, Alexander Sachs, delivered to the president. Wanted Louis, he was my partner, wanted Louis to provide security, make sure Mr. Moneybags didn't get stopped by the Jerrys. On the same day, I was going to be security for her boss and his egghead partner. They were going to give some books to this dandy swell named Van Bush at the Carnegie Institute. Showed what I know. I thought it was a music institute, like the one back home on 7th Avenue.
Wait. We're still talking about 5-cent test, right? You were taking his research to, like, the feds?
Reefer Ralph all right over there? I'd say by the redness in his peepers, he's as high as old Frank's kite. Yes, hophead, I soft shoot it to the Hoover's goons with the science scribble.
Dude, okay. Please, someone tell me it is not just Jimmy stuff, or does anybody else see the talking puppet?
It was October 39. The old Jane gave us each dough enough to cover 10 days' pay plus expenses. Louis running the track had hit a snake eyes, and he was given the old heave-ho by his girl Marla. Man, did he need a fix. Okay, now the puppet is doing my thing? I'm the guy that recounts the stories, people. Seriously? So? With him about to take up residence as a bindle stiff and me behind the 8-ball and keeping the lights on in the office. 10 C notes apiece was Jake with us. While Louis was playing Triggerman and got 2 ducats to ride the Rattler down to D.C. with the butter and egg man, Jane's employee and I took my flipper to split up. Make sure we didn't run any news hawks, thugs, or even worse, the Jerrys.
You had Tesla's journal and were driving to hand it over to Vannevar Bush? Not just one of the most brilliant engineers of his time, but the creator of the Offices of Scientific Research and Development and the NSF?
So, the other gumshoe is on a Rattler?
That's a train, kid.
Right, a train. You're on a flivver.
That's a Ford Auto, son. You want me to get you a playbill for this production?
Who was the person you were escorting?
A professor working at Princeton. Had to give the cold shoulder to the Bobby Sox girls on campus and pick up some moldy old dingus. Hardly ever shut up, like a dame asking about baseball. Yeah, that guy was always in the fish wraps. Al Stein or something.
You drove with Professor Albert Einstein at the brink of the Second World War to... Oh my God, you're talking about the Einstein-Szilard letter to the president, to FDR.
On the money, dollface. I drove with Al and Louis took the Rattler with Leo and Alex.
Leo Szilard and Albert Einstein drafted a secret memo to Franklin Delano Roosevelt telling him of the German scientists' works toward establishing a weaponized nuclear program and urging the U.S. to start their own research.
While they were meeting with the piano-playing president, we got the journals down to the other Carnegie Institute. Got the old codger inside where he met with the Van Hooserslit for highbrow for a few hours. Then I drove him back to Jersey. Come to think of it, Al still owes me 4 bits for the diner voucher. Stipped me for dinner at the Outriders Diner, Route 1 in Lowell, Maryland. From accounts thereafter, it sounds as if Einstein convinced Vannevar Bush that it would be worth the U.S. Science Commission and government to look into the journal of Tesla to see what, if any of his theories, could be put into application. Given the war in Europe had just started, it was thought to be only a matter of months until the U.S. would be dragged in, and they were looking for any advantages. The first application of Tesla's theories and works were initiated just 4 years later in October of 1943. Oh, the Philadelphia experiment! Project Rainbow. It was 1943. The United States was firmly entrenched. Precisely, Mr. Todd, yes. The first military application we know of Tesla's works have been tied to the U.S. Office of Naval Research. And Mr. Todd, you're the resident expert here. Would you do the honors? Yeah, still sore about my 4 bits from that Al guy. Austrian chiseler. Still engaged in World War II, the U.S. was looking for any scientific technology which would give them the edge over the Axis powers. One such project, named Project Rainbow, later be known as the Philadelphia Experiment, was conducted on the naval destroyer USS Eldridge. She was docked in the Philadelphia shipyards at that time, supposedly for a minor refit. However, at the same time, scientists with the Naval Research and newly Roosevelt-formed Office of Strategic Services was equipping the ship with specifically designed electrical generators. As the story goes, they were trying to harness the forces of electromagnetism and gravity and blend them into a single field, or, as Detective Johnson's employer coined it, a unified field. The goal, using this experimental project, which I guess now came from Tesla's writings, was to bend light around the destroyer, making it invisible. Witnesses say the experiment was a success. Sort of.
Only sort of? Now, what does that mean?
Well, the ship, it disappeared from sight, all right, only leaving a swirling green and purple fog in its place, but unexpectedly it was suddenly seen off the coast of Norfolk Naval Yards in Virginia, 250 miles away. The Navy in Norfolk were getting ready to dispatch a crew to investigate, but then they said the ship began to blur, leaving the same sort of mist on the horizon. It was then it reappeared back in Philadelphia. Feel better now? Oh, that should tide me over.
Oh, gosh. And we have one of those tools from that experiment on station. The pry bar? It was on the boat. The one that went invisible and along the Atlantic coast in seconds. Wait. How did they get all the sailors on board not to talk about what they saw?
Oh, there was only a skeleton crew on board during the experiment as they were in dock. But it was pretty easy, as the sailors who were there either went mad shortly after the experiment or were found fused in the walls and the deck plates after the ship showed back up. Damn. So they died doing whatever this experiment was trying to do? Well, they did die an hour or so later. Damn it! Why did you have to say that part, man? Now I'm gonna have nightmares for a week. Come on now. Okay. Although not the outcome I'm sure they wanted. I trust everybody here took note about the swirling colored mist reported, right?
So perhaps Project Rainbow, the Philadelphia experiment, was an early version of Project Atlas.
Not sure. It's entirely possible, but for now all we know is that Philadelphia is where the government started putting Tesla's work into research and development. Projects Rainbow, Overcast, Montauk, Safeguard, all had connections to Tesla's journal per the sections given to Chuck in D.C. by his contact, who he only ever called Mr. Gable. Gable gave Chuck a thick binder with defense intelligence reports, documents, cabinet-level briefings, and TS files, all showing Tesla's works being refined and improved in the decades after the Philadelphia experiment. And it's not until the early 1980s and the project labeled Safeguard that things get, well, let's just say, more in focus. In 1982, a physicist named Dr. Stephen Lukasik left his cabinet-level position in Washington, D.C. to return to the West Coast and become VP for Beauregard-Loewen Research and Technology Center. While in this position, he oversaw the development of some very revolutionary applications, including stealth tech for U.S. bombers, software adaptations for the U.S. Air Force Systems Command with NORAD. He'd go on to include enhancing work he already did with ARPANET expansion and Internet protocols, precision and autonomous systems, and theater missile defenses. Now, by all accounts, Dr. Lukasik was a very honest man, loyal to his country and a true patriot. His research assistants and some who work under him were less dedicated. Two specific names were referenced in Chuck's files. One was a young physics graduate student named Madeline Dantes, who worked with Dr. Lukasik at Bolo Research and Technology Center.
Madeline Dantes? As in...
The current head of Beauregard-Loewen's R&D division for science and military applications. The other person, Avery Maddox, also worked for Dr. Lukasik, but back in the 60s and 70s at his old government offices. The two moved around with Lukasik and would follow him as he went from one civilian defense contract agency to the next, RAND, TRW, SIAC, and various others. Over the years, the three split ways. Why is still understood, but it's suspected to be a falling out. About 30 years ago, there was an internal schism in the overarching defense community on the direction these projects were heading, what they should be used for, and if the sole beneficiary of these projects, being the United States only, was still a valid policy. The three scientists I mentioned parted ways. Madeline Dantes remained with her team at Beauregard-Loewen, climbing the ladder and where she still is today. Avery Maddox, however, returned to the same government-level office and took up a deputy director position with the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, or DARPA. Oh, okay, wait a minute. When you say DARPA, you mean Harp Alaska Research Station DARPA? Created the Internet DARPA? Operates separate and apart from the Defense Department oversight DARPA? That's them.
So, like, one of these two cats is the big bad evil that is running the project in the ice caves.
That's just it. We're not sure. Mr. Gable was able to establish a chain of custody for the journal as it passed hands from Tesla to Einstein, Einstein to Vannevar Bush to Lukasik, but after that the trail stopped. There isn't evidence that either of his protégés, Maddox or Dantes, were entrusted with it. Lukasik semi-retired in 1992, but would go on to several advisory positions up until January 12th, 2008.
Wait a minute. Why is that date so familiar?
Because this is where he spent the last days of his career before going into retirement at the age of 79. He's the one in the center, next to the head of the NSF at the time, Arden Bennett, and the two rather stern-looking military officers, Major General Robert Knopf and Colonel Ronald Smith.
That's us! The Mudson Scott opening in 2008.
Okay, all right, hold up a second. So Grandpa there, same guy that had your electric car dude science diary or whatever, was here for the ribbon cutting back in 2008?
Mm-hmm. Also, one of the last times he was seen publicly, and before it was known his health was failing. Gable suspects that by this point he had already passed on the journal to somebody else.
So, if you've got files and documents on all this, why not just go to the cops?
I am the cop, Zeke.
I mean, you know what I mean, man. High-level authorities or even the media.
Sounds like Maddox and Dantes got wind that somebody found the journal, like the G-Man's head honcho. So they rubbed him off.
As much as I want to blame Jocelyn for that, it doesn't sound like it was her after all. I also don't want to put any of us in those same crosshairs. Chuck had the partial story, the lead up to the project taking place here. I want to finish that story, putting the end on it from Tesla to now. Then, with that full story, we can talk about going public.
I mean, we don't know how far this goes, given we're basically talking about DOD, the DIA, DARPA. It's all national security related stuff.
Oh, gosh. I don't want any of us to get into trouble. Did the files you were sent... Did any of them include pages from the journal?
No, just references to it. For now, all of this stays amongst us, okay? Don't talk about anything said here, about Atlas in general, unless, well, we're in this room. For everyone's safety. I'm looking into where the journal may have gone. Chuck had a way of getting in contact with Mr. Gable. The last anybody knew, it was still in Lukasek's possession when Safeguard was shut down in 1992 in Nevada, and before the design of the station began. Finding the journal would be huge. That, and getting everything we can on Atlas, should still be our overall goal.
Okay. Well, not for nothing, but I told Katrin that I'd meet her for lunch today. Get in some chow and a little bit of extracurricular credit. You know what I'm saying?
So long as you don't explain what you mean. Yes, Fred, we know what you're saying.
I just hope I don't have to hear any more about Danny Steele books or whatever that writer broad's name is. So sick of it.
Oh, man. Nikolai Tesla. What if it's Nikolai Tesla? What if it's him?
Wait, we know it's him, Patrick. We've been talking about this journal for the last 3 hours.
What? Yeah. No. Okay, I'm not on. I only save Jimmy stuff for the big occasions. I'm not that out of it right now. Listen. What if the big bad evil guy is Nikolai Tesla?
You sure you didn't get in your cousin's stash there, Davis? Tesla would be around 200 years old, man. Ain't no way.
Uh-huh, right. My guy, there's a living puppet standing over there. We have a literal demon in the basement. Sandra's from another dimension. We have ice feet.
Bumbles, let's not backtrack on this.
And a 48-second time machine. A 200-year-old guy is not the weirdest part of that sentence.
Well, I can't invalidate anything you just said, Mr. Daubers. I'm going to recommend we shelve that theory for the time being. Oh, wait a minute, everybody. We forgot the most important thing.
Yeah? What's that?
What we are naming this place? Fortress of Solitude. Every tool-bit and big-time gumshoe with an office has to have an agency name, G-Man. A moniker that fits the bill.
Since we all built this for you, Bass, it's only right you get to name it.
Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, we need a swell name so we can refer to it without letting everybody know what or where it is.
Yeah, something hip. Something cool.
I'm just tossing a name in the hat. Just pulling the strings here. What about the kennel or the doghouse?
What do you think about it, Lawman? I can see smoke coming from that swell cowboy head of yours. I know you're cooking up something in there.
Oh, how about the Fortress of Solitude? All good suggestions, but, when I was a kid, growing up in Emporia, Kansas, anytime I was upset, anytime I needed to get away from everything or just have time to deal with whatever was going on, we had this old barn out back of our house, and my dad and uncles built a new barn when I was 8, a real modern structure, and they retired the old one. I mean, he always said he was going to get around to tearing it down. He used to drive my mom nuts, because it took him 20 years to do it. But whenever I needed a place, I'd go to the barn.
The barn. The barn. Hey guys, meet up with you at the barn later? I'll be 10 minutes late getting to the barn. Gosh, I think it's a swell name, and how.
Not the first thing I would have considered, but, barn, yeah, I'll go with that.
It's definitely you, sweetie.
Well, it is not as cool as a superhero getaway fortress name, but, it works. Okay, then. The barn.
This is Brian Bradley. Thank you for listening to our show. We are commercial-free and able to do so thanks to our amazing sponsors. You can help support 90 Degrees by visiting our Patreon page. Go to 90degreespodcast.com. That's the number 90 and Degrees Podcast, all one word, .com. You'll find a direct link to our Patreon page where you can make a monthly pledge and get shirts, buttons, stickers, or even a shout out as an honorary station Polly. Speaking of, we'd like to send a special shout out to the following Polies: Nick Wolf, Tatum Adams, Monica David, Rainbow Lights, Thomas Reisky, and L. Link. Thank you for your sponsorship. It helps and supports us in so many ways.
This has been 90 Degrees South. On behalf of the cast and crew, I'd like to thank you for listening. If you liked the episode and are enjoying the series, please remember to give us a like, a share, a tweet, send a raven, or review on iTunes, Audioboom, or your favorite podcast site. It helps us to get the word out and keeps the cold at bay. Until next time.
Dudes, we got it all wrong. It is not Elon Musk, it's Nikola Tesla. Dudes? Dudes? Where the hell is everybody? Wait. Oh, so not cool, guys. Make a duder up before you all leave. Come on. Well, guess there's only one thing left to do. Thank you, Jimmy.
This has been a BMB production.